TitleMatchNetwork.com.
I think it was just the Bulldogs and the Rougeau brothers. Wyndham and Rotundo Wyndham got mad and quit, and so it was Dan Spivey and Rotundo. Poor Dan. Danny was a great guy, but he couldn't follow Barry Windham, and they put them together, and we just didn't gel. You know, Dan was a great guy, but he couldn't take Barry Windham's place. And Barry Windham, you know, I won't even talk to him this day when I see him. He screwed up that we beat him in Spectrum, and we were set to go against him. And because he was a baby and got mad and left and went back to hang out with Dusty or something, he screwed that whole thing up. I mean, we were off and rolling. I mean, we never got to run. And then they brought Spivey into poor Mike Rotundo, you know. Just screwed it all up. But we ended up getting the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs were underneath, and they had just came in from Canada, and they were doing all these underneath matches, and also there was Bret Hart and Jimmy Amble too. So they was all underneath tag teams, and they came up with the idea that Captain Lou Albano would take the Bulldogs under his wing. You know, Captain was over, and he was a heel manager. Now he's going to be a babyface manager with the Bulldogs. And they did this thing on television where we put them over. They got me in an airplane spin. Brutus was laying flat. The little Bulldog jumps on my back, and Davey Boy's holding me, and jumps off on Brutus, and a 1, 2, 3. Now it was a non-title match. We went everywhere with these guys, and sold out all over the place. So it didn't have to be Canada. Canada was great. But everywhere we went, just that one angle, and it was fabulous. And me and Brutus were really over as a dream team, so it worked out really good.
You mentioned Dan Spivey a few minutes ago. Did you remember anything about, I've heard a few takes on this, and I don't know if you were there.
I know what you're going to ask me.
You already know?
About Adrian?
How did you feel like, were you there, or do you remember seeing or hearing anything about this?
Actually, I was homesick. I had to call in sick, and it didn't happen too often, but it was somewhere in Wisconsin or Minneapolis or Illinois or whatever. Adrian was, we're talking about Adrian and Spivey, right? So Adrian was wrestling Danny Spivey, and I guess Danny wasn't selling him good. I mean, that's what I heard. So Adrian was kind of a shooter himself, and he shot on Danny and brought him down and kind of rubbed his face in the mat, sort of. I'm not really sure, but I know that Danny got pissed, and he ended up hauling off and punching Adrian. And this Danny Spivey's one, nobody knew that back then, but he can punch your fucking headlights out, man. He's still trying to leg dive him, Adrian. And he punched him again. And now he's like this. And Danny just got mad and walked out of the ring. They ended up counting him out, and Adrian got his hands raised, but his face is all busted up. So Adrian follows him back into the dressing room, and he goes right over where Danny's at. And he tries to leg dive him again. And Danny waylaid him. Boom, 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 boom. Beat the fucking shit out of him. Now I'm in Florida. I'm getting ready to come up to Chicago the next day. And so I didn't even hear about it. It was before cell phones and everything. So I walk into the Rosemont Horizon. We got a big show there that night. And I walk into the dressing room, and I go, oh my God. Adrian's sitting there, his head was about this friggin' big around. Never before have I seen a head that, I mean, it was dangerous. His head is swollen like this, and he shows up because he's working with Hogan that night. And they go, Adrian, you can't go out there like that. I mean, it looked like a blown up basketball with a bunch of scars on it. He looked like an alien or something. I have never seen anybody's head that, I mean, good God, it was dangerous for him. And they sent him home. Never, I mean, it scared me to look at it. And I go, oh my God, Danny must be this is before we realized how tough he was. That was bad. That was bad. It wasn't long after that Adrian quit. He was so embarrassed about that. Whew, man, never before had I seen anything that bad and anybody with a head blown up like that. I'd never seen that. I didn't know a head could blow up like that.
This cost him. He was supposed to have a run with Hogan too, right? You said
Yeah,
that night.
it cost him everything. And the next thing he did was he went to Japan. Then he comes back, and he has that awful accident up in Canada with the twins and those guys and the bear man, and they dodge hitting a big bear and go down into a ravine and into the river, and he came loose. I guess he didn't have his seatbelt on, and he ended up dying in that wreck. And then the two referees knew he had a bunch of money on him. I guess he had about 30 grand because you get paid cash when you leave Japan, right? And he had that 30 grand on him, and I don't know how they knew, but they got that money, those two referees, but they ended up getting it back and sent it to his poor wife in Bakersfield. Oh, that's terrible. Poor Adrian. I mean, he became a prick, but we were friends, and he wouldn't even talk to me anymore. He just became a real prick, but still is a bad way to end up, you know? Nobody deserves that.
We talked to Sabu yesterday, and he was saying that him and the Sheik were going to do that show the next day or something like that, so they were heading up there, and he had heard that the ring that Adrian always wore was missing, and that's how the wife, I guess, or I don't want to speak out of turn. This is what he was saying. That I think
I never heard about the ring.
That was how they realized that he never takes his ring off. Where's the ring? And
yeah.
And then I guess someone that was traveling there always had the money box or something,
right.
And so all the money was gone. And apparently he was saying that Adrian could have survived, but the people that were behind him took longer. I guess didn't call for help or whatever. Were busy stealing from them or something like that, and he actually could have.
Maybe he survived, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's fucked up. It was the two referees that got all his money plus the ring. I guess I didn't hear about the ring, but I'm sure they got that back too.
Yeah.
That's terrible. And you can say what you want to about Adrian. He was messed up on drugs and stuff, and that beating he got from Spivey probably really embarrassed him. You know, he was a proud man, and he got over big time with a gay gimmick, and you know, I would have never done anything like that, but Vince, he went with it with a flower shop and all that, and he got a lot of heat.
Made it work, right?
Yeah.
It was big.
You couldn't do anything like that nowadays, all this woke shit. You can't say anything bad about gay people. So it worked back then, though. Yeah. Adrian he used to follow me around in Buffalo. I think he was from that area. And we were good friends. And but it's sad that it ended up like that. And And I hope the wife and the daughter are doing good. It's sad, sad stuff.